Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
So here's the Marvel United Kickstarter box, and this has all the Kickstarter exclusives in it. You can just see a ton of different people that are going to be in here. And you flip it over, you're going to have a list of all of the people on the back that are in it. I'm not going to spend a tremendous amount of time on this, but I do kind of just want to go through and have an unboxing and show you what's in it. So here we're going to have a little bit of an advertisement for some free content. Now on the top here, I have the different people that are going to come in it. So let's kind of zoom in here, and I'll just go over what they are. So you got Baron Zemo. It's going to be one of the villains that you're going to get. And he's going to 3-5-8. Special rules: a hero with any crisis tokens at the end of their turn must use each of these tokens to cover one symbol on the bottom of the card they play this turn, keeping any leftovers. Symbols covered by crisis tokens do not grant actions to heroes. His BAM: deal 1 damage to one hero in his location and give a crisis token. The overflow: if more tokens can't be added, give a crisis token to the hero closest to it. So you don't want to be getting those crisis tokens that you'll be able to have. We're going to get King. Special rules: when a hero is KO'd, King doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, he plays another card. So those cards are going to be coming out at great speed there. 4, 7, 10 for his health. So a little tougher to kill than what you saw with Baron Zemo. If King's in a location, you deal 2 damage to each hero in his location and 1 damage in everybody adjacent location. So you don't want to be anywhere near him when that BAM goes off. If he's out of play, you add a bandit to every location, not add any indicated on the master plan card. His overflow is add 1 crisis token to the location. Location of the crisis token lose their end of turn effect. So you can lose powers as it goes on, and that would be King. You're also going to get Hela. It's be really good with the Asgard collection here. Special rules: you can't take any damage as long as the Fenris Wolf threat is in place. And you get rid of that card as quickly as possible. 4, 7, 10, so pretty powerful there. And deal 1 damage to each hero in her location. So that's pretty damaging there. Overflow: if Ferris is in play, he gains 1 additional health. If not in play, you place a Necrosword's threat card on the first location without a threat. And then her villainous plot, they lose if all the heroes are okay at the same time. So that's kind of hard to lose that way, I feel like. But she can kind of pound on you over and over. She deals damage to you. You can have Dormammu. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Special rules: can never be damaged. However, he is defeated after his last Master Plan card is resolved. When 2 missions are completed, remove the top card of the Master Plan deck from the game. When a hero is KO'd, doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, advance to rival track by the number of heroes. His BAM is deal 2 damage to each hero in his locations. That's twice as hard as we just saw with Hela. And the overflow: increase the rival track by 1 for each. So this is going to be his rival track down here. We saw this before with Red Skull, something similar to this. The villainous plot: when this track reaches 20, the heroes lose. He's going to be moving up this rival track as he goes until he gets to 20. And as you can see, there can be ways for him to move up on that. Venom 5, 8, 11. He soaks up a ton of damage, right? Special rules: now, he was a hero in the Walmart version of the game, if you're able to get that one, and now here he's a villain. When a hero is KO'd, Venom doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, he plays another Master Plan card, right? We just saw that. Deal 1 damage to each hero in his location, 2 if they have any crisis token, and then everybody gets a crisis token. So as those crisis tokens come out, he's going to do more and more damage to you. Overflow: 1 hero gets his crisis token, so we're putting even more and more crisis tokens out. Very simple to play. And then this villainous plot: they lose when all heroes are out of the game. A hero's out of the game when he gets enough crisis token, depending on the number of players. That's pretty tough, right? So those crisis tokens will be very, very important. You got Rhino. Rhino's really hard to play sometimes. Special rules: when a hero is KO'd, Rhino doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, give that hero 1 crisis token. If a hero has any crisis tokens, they must play their next card face down in the storyline, then discard all their crisis tokens. So that can be very powerful, right? Deal damage to each hero in his location equal to the number of locations he entered this turn. Then move all damaged heroes 1 location clockwise. It'll be very powerful as he moves around the board. He's gearing up to kind of plow into you. Very thematic as he'll have. His overflow: draw another Master Plan card, add it face down in that storyline. So he's going to be going through those Master Plans pretty well, and that's Rhino. Then we have Modoc. He has to flip a hero card, take the face-up hero card closest to the start of the storyline, flip it face down, and the face-down card's treated as blank. The BAM: flip 1 hero card. Overflow: flip a hero card. Villainous plot: heroes lose if all hero cards in the storyline are face down. So as the game progresses, he'll be flipping those over. You see 4, 7, 10. Not, he soaks up some damage, but not the most that we've seen. But he's flipping over. It's going to be something that maybe earlier in the game, if he does it a lot, you're not going to have time to respond to it, but it's going to be sneaking up on you as you go. Very interesting and very different to play as Modoc. So playing against him is kind of fun because it's something out of the ordinary. Then we have Kingpin. Special rules. When a hero is KO'd, Kingpin doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, he plays another Master Plan card. We've seen that before. 6, 8, 11 damage he's soaking up. So he soaks up quite a bit of damage. Deal 1 damage to each hero in Kingpin location. Okay, we've seen that before. Nothing new here so far. Overflow. Deal 1 damage to each hero in the location. Okay. His plot. Heroes lose when Kingpin has discarded all 6 plan tokens. He's going to be wanting to get rid of those plan tokens as much as possible. And that's kind of how Kingpin is going to work. He will have a special setup on the back. You shuffle the 6 plan tokens and place 1 on each location with the number face up. Corvus Glove, 5, 8, 11, so it can soak up quite a bit of damage there. Special rules. When a hero is KO'd, they get a KO token. His BAM is deal damage to each hero in his location. So he's going to be trying to KO you as you go on by dealing that damage. His overflow, deal damage to each hero in the location. Nothing we haven't seen before. But his plot, the heroes lose when they have a number of KO tokens equal to the number of heroes. So whenever you KO, you're going to get one. So, if somebody gets 3, that counts as 3 towards it. So it's not just different people getting KO'd. It's how many times players get KO'd in general. We're going to see Carnage here. 5, 8, 11, so you can soak up quite a bit of damage there. Special rules. Whenever a hero is KO'd, increase the spawn track by 1. So you have a spawn track. And when he reaches 10, heroes will lose. We've seen this before with Dormammu. We've seen this with Red Skull. So you have a little track that you're going up. His BAM, deal damage to each hero in his location. Then place a crisis token above each bystander that's there. Then the overflow. It can't be added. Discard all bystanders with a crisis token in the location with the most bystanders. And for each bystander with a crisis token that's discarded, you increase the spawn track by 1. So you're going to be putting those crisis tokens on the bystanders, and as they come off the board, whichever one has the most will push this up. So that can sneak up on you as you're going. That's Carnage, right? And then we have Bullseye. Special rules. When a hero is KO'd, Bullseye doesn't activate his BAM. Instead, the hero gets a KO token. It's going to soak up 5, 7, 10. So not the most that we've seen, but not terrible either. And his BAM is deal damage to each hero in both locations adjacent. So not where he's at, because he's going to throw things at you, but at the locations adjacent to you. Very interesting and very different than some of the ones we've seen before. The villainous plot. If a bystander or bandit token can't be added to a location, you lose. So you need to make sure you're managing this, because otherwise it's a quick way to lose. The heroes also lose when they have a number of KO tokens equal number of heroes. We've seen this before, but added with this makes Bullseye just a little bit tougher, because you got to manage 2 things at once. Okay, so here we have some of the villains. We'll take a look at their threat cards. This is King. As long as the threat is in play, whenever King interplays, he does so with full health. So we have 2 of those. King can't take any damage as long as he is in this or adjacent locations. So he can't take any damage. You got to move him away from these locations. As long as this threat's in play, heroes in the turn location with any bandits take a damage. That can be pretty tough. And you can see he has some BAM and moving things around as your normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. If King's in a location, pull him out of play. If King's out of play, put him in play in the location with the most heroes, then BAM. And you're going to see that Time Master, him moving off the board, and will be very powerful, and it works with his character quite a bit. Here we have Hela. As you can see, let's take a look at our threat cards. Necro Swords deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location. If there are any bandits, deal 2 damage instead. So you're going to have quite a bit of those. And then Phineas Wolf, which is part of her power. BAM. Deal 1 damage to 1 hero in this location. You can't take any damage as long as Wolf is in play. And then Banish. Hela will enter play when resolving her first BAM effect. Move to the location with the hero with the most cards. BAM. So she's going to try to hit the person that has the most cards, which would be the most health, and kind of bring them down. Add bandits to each location, and if the wolf is not in play, place his threat card in the first clockwise, so he can be coming back as she raises that undead army quite a few times as the game progresses. Next we'll get Dormammu. Well, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Each bandit in his location requires 2 damage. You have 2 of those. Each bystander requires 1 extra heroic action, so very similar to the other ones. And heroes that take damage in the location take extra damage. So he's going to be pounding away on you as you go. Get the normal BAMs and movements. You can see adding bystanders and the bandits to the board. Nothing out of the ordinary. You have your ritual. Increase the ritual track by the number of bandits in Dormammu's location because you're adding 1 immediately. Remember, he has that track you're trying to go through. So that can be very difficult for him as he moves up that track. And there'll be 4 of those in his deck. Then we have Corvus Glove that we'll see here. His threat ones, heroes that take damage in the location take an extra damage. We have hidden traps. Civilians in peril, discard all the bystanders from his location. If any are discarded this way, play another master plan card after the current one. So you want to make sure that you're getting those off the board against him. Otherwise, the civilians in peril will come back to haunt you. Same things moving around the board and doing bans. Nothing out of the ordinary that I see. But he has a Glove attack. Move clockwise to the next location with only 1 hero and deal 2 damage to them. If there's no such location, do not move and deal 1 damage to each hero instead. So a little bit different. They're going to see or slaughter, deal 1 damage to each hero and his location. But you're going to be moving clockwise to the next location with any heroes for a slaughter attack. So he can be pretty brutal when it comes to getting the KOs. Here is Carnage, the evil. We'll look at his threat cards. Each bystander requires 1 extra. We've seen that over and over and over again. We're going to have Carnage's offspring. Place a crisis token above 1 bystander. Add a bystander to this location and deal damage to each hero there. And he's going to have 4 health. You're going to have 3 of those that will come out. Otherwise, you have the normal kind of movement, bans, adding people to the board. And then you have Spawn of Evil. Add a bystander to every location. It can be brutal because you're going to move the location with the most bystanders. And you have a couple of those Spawn of Evils that will kind of be put in. And just more and more and more of those will come out as the game progresses. Next is Kingpin, which is one of my favorite guys to play and try to defeat him. Any bystander's location immediately turn into a bandit. Each bandit requires 2 damage to be defeated. Bullseye, who's also a villain, will come out as a henchman heal. Deal 1 damage to each hero in this location and both adjacent ones. Discard a bandit from each of these locations without heroes. As long as this threat's in play, any defeated bandits are discarded instead of being placed on the mission card. So you have to beat this before you can defeat that mission. And the same thing here with the bystanders. So you're going to beat those first. And there's 2 of those, each of those in the deck. The normal moving around bams, adding people to the board. But here you got advance to plan. It's Kingpin, place him in the location with the lowest numbered plan tokens and discard it. And you're going to have 4, 5, 6 of those that will be in the game. Kind of move things around and shake things up just a tad differently than what you would expect. Then we'll take a look at Bullseye next. We just saw him as a henchman for Kingpin. He's also his own character. If he's in a location, in this location, he cannot take any damage. You need to move him around if you're going to beat him. Heroes that take damage in this location take an extra damage. We've seen that quite a few times. As long as this threat's in place here, cannot defeat Bullseye nor win the game. So diversion, you have to move him around to certain locations. You can see there's 4 of the 6 that really aren't going to work with him until you beat those threats. And then you're going to have, your normal moving around of BAMs. Master Assassin, move clockwise to the next location with no heroes. Deal 2 damage to each hero in both locations adjacent to him. So he doesn't want to be where people are at, but he wants to be adjacent. Deal 2 damage to each hero in the location opposite to him. So he's going to have an impossible shot. Very thematic there that he'll be doing. Very kind of cool character, Bullseye. Now, Venom returns as a bad guy in this one. You can use him as a hero or as a bad guy. Here's his threat cards. Give a crisis token to any hero. The heroes get to choose that. When taking damage, heroes in this location take an extra damage. And heroes any other turn in this location get a crisis token. Remember, he's trying to put those out. You're going to have your normal movement around and your bands and putting bystanders, etc. out. Entangle, gain 1 crisis token to 1 hero in Venom's location. Then you bam. You're going to have, 4 of those that will come out. Remember, you're moving to the location with any heroes. So those crisis tokens are going to become quite a problem when you're dealing with him. Next, we have Rhino, who will come into the game. You can see his threat. Heroes take damage in this location, also get a crisis token, so some open fields that you'll have. No cover. Heroes in their turn in this location get a crisis token. And you're going to have 3 of those no cover, because he's just kind of running at you, right? You have your normal kind of moving around the board and bams and adding people to the board. Nothing out of the ordinary here until you get those Rhino charge. Move clockwise next location with any heroes. Bam! And you're going to have 3, 4 of those that will be in. So he's going to move to the location with any heroes and then perform the BAM effect on them. Rhino is one of the harder characters to defeat in this game, absolutely. Modoc is going to be the next one. I just like the way this guy looks. I don't know a whole lot about him because I haven't seen him in any of the shows. But heroes lose all their action tokens. They have none or wish to keep them. Flip 2 hero cards. Remember, hero cards is what he's trying to do to you, so you don't want to do that. Heroes starting to turn this location must play their card face down in the storyline. Once again, he's flipping those cards over. Flip a hero card. We're going to see Spot come out. Flip as many hero cards as the number of heroic actions at the bottom of the last 2 hero cards in the storyline. You got Chameleon. Deal damage to 1 hero in this location, equal to number of punches at the bottom of the last 2 hero cards. Living Laser. Deal damage to each hero in the location. If there are no heroes, flip a hero card. So I really like playing against him because it's something a little bit different. Move Modoc to the hero's starting location. And then you're going to have your normal moving around and bams, etc. Well, he's going to be flipping cards. Consciousness transferal. As long as the cards face up in the storyline, bam, on the next cards flips 1 additional hero card. Accelerate the next villain turn by 1 card. So it's going to come out a little bit quicker and get through his deck. Modoc is very tough to me. I haven't seen a lot of commentary about him, but I find him to be very tough to defeat. And Baron Zemo will come out next. You're going to see Goliath. Deal 2 damage, 1 hero in this location. It can be defeated by using the 3 heroic actions in a single turn or the 5 health. The fixer discard a bystander. Can be defeated by 2 heroic or 3. You can see that with all these deal damage to an adjacent hero, or 2 or 3 attacks. So you can use the heroic actions to defeat these guys. So if you're going to be going against the Baron Zemo, it might be good to take some people with the heroic actions. As long as there's threats in play, henchmen cannot take any damage. So you need to make sure you defeat the Masters of Evil first, and then go in to defeat each of those, which is kind of cool. I like that aspect of it. So you see a lot of moving and bams. Normal Thunderbolts, add 3 to Baron Bandits to his location, then bam. A couple of those that will be in the deck. And then you will see here, Citizen V, discard all bandits and bystanders in his location, which is not good for you whatsoever. So kind of an interesting one. I don't find Baron Zemo to be ultra difficult, but is very different than the other ones that you've seen played out.